Hi, I'm Livia Mahaffey, a senior on the cross-country team, and you are watching the Black and Gold Report on WFXB.
Good afternoon and welcome to this week's edition of the Black and Gold Report, a program all about UNCP Braves athletics. I'm Kevin Freeman, and on the show this week we'll be talking to head football coach Pete Shinnick. And the second half of the program is Jenna Davison is going to be talking to men's head soccer coach Phil Heinsohn. But as always during football season, we're joined first by Coach Shinnick. Coach, welcome to the program. It's good to see you again.
Thank you.
Let's talk a little bit about the game. It was a very back and forth, hard-fought, 28-23 loss to ninth-ranked Winston-Salem State. First off, as we always do, give us your overall impressions of the game.
Well, I was really pleased with how our guys fought throughout the entire game. I never felt like there was a lack of effort. I never felt like there was a lack of hustle on our part. So when you play the first game, you're not sure what you have. You don't know what kind of team you have. You don't know how it's going to play out and what it's going to look like. From that standpoint, I was very, very pleased. We just left some things on the field that ended up costing us. We did some things in the first half that I think led to us being behind. And then in the second half, we just didn't have enough at the end to make it work.
And every time you would score, they would turn around and score back again, which put you back where you were. You mentioned in your post-game interview that the team simply made too many mistakes, and you mentioned this just a second ago on Saturday. I mean, how big were those? You had two drives deep into enemy territory that resulted in turnovers. What are the means to... Well, A, how did those hurt the team's momentum? And B, what do you do to try to minimize those problems later on in the season? Is this just first game jitters to some degree, or what do you think?
Well, I think it's part of the education process and it's part of the growth. I mean, we turned the ball over. We had second and 5 at the 9-yard line and turned the ball over. That can never happen. We've got to score points every time we're in the red zone, whether it's 3 or 7. And then on the ensuing drive, we gave up a 3rd and 9 and gave up 63 yards. Those two things cannot take place. Now, like I told our team, that happened with 7 minutes to go in the game. But in the first 53 minutes, we had some drop balls, we had some missed coverages, we had some missed tackles that resulted in us being behind. And as you say, I mean, that's just part of the process that takes place during the first game. We've got to be able to learn from that, grow from that, and never put ourselves in that position again.
And as you said, I mean, you've just practiced to this point, and so when it finally gets put into game situations, sometimes you just never know what's going to happen. You just have to see. Well, one thing for sure, you definitely were able to move the ball better this year against the Rams than you had the previous 2 times that you had played them. What was your offensive strategy, and what parts of it, turnovers aside and mistakes aside, did you succeed in, you think?
Well, no, our strategy was we wanted to take what they gave us, and so we really put a little bit on our quarterback to make sure that he got us in the right play and gave us the right look. The other thing is we wanted to wear him down a little bit. Last year we were only on the field for 20 minutes or so, and they wore our defense down. And so, it was right about 30-30 this week. We did that by, just kind of keeping them in their stance a little longer, holding the ball a little longer, and I think that all played out to our advantage. Luke did a very nice job of executing the offensive game plan.
I wanted to follow up with that because my next question was about Luke Charles. He's coming off a season, of course, where he set numerous UNCP single-season passing records. How did he do overall in his first game, and what are you looking for him to work on in practice this week in preparation for the Broncos?
Well, he executed, like I said, executed the game plan very well. He was extremely accurate. He was 32 of 46, right around 70%. But he threw the ball away on 4 occasions, and he had 3 drops. So really, 40 times out of 46, he was pretty much dialed in, and that's what we need of him. He needs to be that focused, and he needs to be that in tune. So I'm pleased with him, excited how his first game went, and expect him to get better and build.
He definitely played like he's done it before, which is what you wanted. Now, Coach, over the offseason, a lot of people asked me how I thought the Braves were going to do this year and what I thought the keys for victory were, and my answer to that was invariably the same every time, and I'm curious to see whether you agree with me on this. And to me, the key to this season is the offensive line. You've lost a lot of seniors last year to graduation. I think 4 out of the 5 starting seniors, starting linemen were seniors. So you've got a lot of guys who either are new to the team or who are starting for the first time. Were you happy with how the offensive line performed in the first game? I think they gave up 2 sacks, if I remember correctly. Were you happy with their performance?
I was. They actually gave up 1, and Luke fell down on 1. So I was pleased with that. We didn't have many rushes for negative yards. So I was happy with what they did. They've got a little more that they can do, and they've got a little more that they can get better at. But for a first game with 4 new starters, yeah, pleased with what we saw.
And who do you have in the starting line right now? Who are the guys?
Wes Carter is our returning starter. Jordan Champion is at center. Donald Sheetself and Philip Cheek are at the guards, and R.J. Harvin is at the other tackle opposite of Wes.
And you got some size in there and a little bit of mobility, so that bodes well, hopefully, for the running game and for the passing game. All right, we're going to take our first break. When we come back, we're going to talk to Coach Hennick about the upcoming Two Rivers Classic with Fayetteville State, so stay tuned.
I thought it was my lungs.
I was having shortness of breath.
I had a great team of doctors.
Dr. Lowry, wonderful doctor. The only one, really, who has ever had my heart in his hand.
I don't think you got any better treatment in Duke than you got him.
I felt very safe.
I mean, I feel good. Got energy.
I go to the mall and walk 2 miles.
I come out victorious.
I love Southeastern, and of course, if it has something to do with their heart, this is where you get it.